kind heart. This is so because he may have what he asks, but not the kind of heart that would give. Hence, first one needs to praise the Creator, meaning believe that the Creator has everything that one is asking for, and that the Creator is merciful and grants everyone his wish for the best. It turns out that when the friends gather in one place, the assembly is certainly for a purpose, since when one allocates part of his time, which he would use for his own needs, relinquishing his engagements and partaking in an assembly, he wishes to acquire something. Thus, it is important to try that when each of the friends goes home, he should see what he came to the assembly with, and what he has acquired now that he is going home. Sometimes during the assembly of friends, everyone feels good during the meeting. At that time, it does not occur to them to contemplate with which possessions they will go home. Meaning, what I have in my hand, which I acquired at the assembly of friends, and did not have before I came to the society. And then he sees that he has nothing. This is similar to what it is written, when you come into your friend's vineyard, you may eat grapes until you've saturated your soul, but do not put any in your vessels. We should interpret it that when the friends gather, this is called your friend's vineyard. When you sit and eat and drink together, talking about this and that, and the body enjoys during the action. This is similar to you may eat grapes until you have saturated your soul. But when you go home and wish to see what you have in your vessels, to take some livelihood home, when we leave the gathering and wish to examine what we have in our vessels after all the partying, we see that, but do not put any in your vessels. In other words, there's nothing in the kelim with which to revive the soul after the assembly. However, when one exerts, he should make certain that it is not without reward. It is as we say in the prayer, and came unto Zion, lest we labor in vain. Rather, when one goes to an assembly, he should acquire nourishments there, so that when he goes home, he will be able to see if he has something to put in the kelim. Then he will have the nourishments to feed himself until the next meeting. And until that time, he will have from what has been prepared, meaning from what he has acquired during the assembly of friends. Therefore, first, one must praise the importance of the gathering, and then see what to acquire from that activity. It is as our sages said, one should always praise the Creator and then pray. In other words, the beginning of the assembly, meaning the beginning of the discussions, which is the beginning of the assembly, should be about praising the society. Each and every one must try to provide reasons and explanations for their merit and importance. They should speak of nothing but the praise of society. Finally, its praise should be disclosed by all the friends. Then they should say, now we are through with stage 1 of the assembly of friends, and stage 2 begins. Then each will state his mind about the actions we can take, so that each and every one will be able to acquire the love of friends. What each person can do to acquire love in his heart for each and every one in the society. And once stage 2 is completed, suggestions regarding what can be done in favor of society, then begins stage 3. This concerns carrying out of the friends' decisions about what should be done. And regarding the praise of society in Matan Torah, he introduces the matter of love of friends, that by bonding with the friends, he can obtain the greatness of the Creator. The whole world is immersed in self-love, and he wishes to go by the path of bestowal. But this is against the common view, because this is the nature we were born with due to the purpose of creation, which is, as was said, his will to do good to his creatures. And all our power to resist it, to act to the contrary, that not only do we not want to receive for ourselves, but we rather want to give, which is considered that all our actions will be only in order to bestow contentment upon our Maker. This is because it is within the nature of bestowal that when one gives to an important person, he enjoys it. It turns out that without pleasure, one cannot do anything because it is against nature. However, we can replace the pleasure. This means that instead of receiving pleasure from an act of reception, we will wish to receive pleasure from an act of bestowal. This is called equivalence of form. We should say that as the Creator enjoys giving to the creatures, we should enjoy giving to the Creator. Otherwise, meaning if we have no joy or pleasure while we give to the Creator, we are blemishing the equivalence of form. It is as our sages said, there was no joy before him as on the day when heaven and earth were created. There was no joy before the Creator since the day the world was created, like the joy that he is destined to rejoice with the righteous in the future. Therefore, if we have no joy while we are keeping the commandments of the Creator, then if one aims in order to bestow, it is not considered equivalence of form, because one can only be glad where there is pleasure. Turns out that if he has no delight or pleasure in giving to the Creator, it is still not regarded as equivalence of form, that he has room to receive the upper abundance, since he is still lacking the pleasure that the Creator has while giving to the creatures. It therefore follows that the whole basis upon which we can receive delight and pleasure, and which is permitted for us to enjoy, and is even mandatory, is to enjoy an act of bestowal. Thus, there is one point we should work on: appreciation of spirituality. This is expressed in paying attention to whom I turn, with whom I speak, whose commandments I'm keeping, and whose laws I'm learning, meaning in seeking advice concerning how to appreciate the giver of the Torah. And before one obtains some illumination from above by himself, he should seek out like-minded people who are also seeking to enhance the importance of any contact with the Creator in whatever way. And when many people support it, everyone can receive assistance from his friend. We should know that two is the least plural. This means that if two friends sit together and contemplate how to enhance the importance of the Creator, they already have the strength to receive enhancement of the greatness of the Creator in the form of awakening from below. And for this act, the awakening from above follows, and they begin to have some sensation of the greatness of the Creator. According to what is written in the multitude of people is the King's glory, it follows that the greater the number of the collective, the more effective is the power of the collective. In other words, they produce a stronger atmosphere of greatness and importance of the Creator. At that time, each person's body feels that he regards anything that he wishes to do for holiness, meaning to bestow upon the Creator, as a great fortune, that he has been privileged with being among people who have been rewarded with serving the King. At that time, every little thing he does fills him with joy and pleasure, that now he has something with which to serve the King. To the extent that the society regards the greatness of the Creator with their thoughts during the assembly, each according to his degree originates the importance of the Creator in him. Thus he can walk all day in the world of gladness and joy, meaning he enjoys every little thing that he does concerning the work of the Creator. This is so because if he remembers that he should contemplate spirituality for even a minute, he immediately says, I'm already grateful, and praising and glorifying the Creator, since he believes that now the Creator has called him and wishes to speak with him. And when a person imagines that the king is calling him and tells him that he wants to play with him, what joy would he experience then? And what high spirits would he have? Certainly in that uplifted state, he would not think any trifle thoughts. He would only be a little embarrassed at not knowing the king's laws and manners, how to behave when the king speaks to him. But he considers what he does not know to do for the king as a great fortune, since he nonetheless knows some rules by which to keep the king's commandments, which he learned at school when he was young. And now that he has grown and wishes to serve the king, he will certainly miss the knowledge of the king's laws. It turns out that his concern is that he does not know what gives the king more pleasure, which act or which intention. And other than that, he lives in a world that is all good. While gathering for the assembly, this is what the society should think. And to speak of the greatness of society, as it is written, one should always praise the Creator and then pray. It is the same with the society. When we wish to demand something of the society, and this is called praying, we must first establish the merit of the society and then pray, meaning demand of the society to give us what we want from it. Thus, first we need to see that the society has which possessions they have, which we can receive from them by bonding with them. Perhaps we do not need the possession that the society has, but moreover, we run as far away from it as possible. Accordingly, when one comes to the assembly of friends, he should always see whether or not the friends have the goal that he craves, that each of them has some grip on that goal. And he thinks that by everyone bonding together for one goal, each will have his own share, as well as the shares of the whole of society. It follows that each member of the society will have the same strength as the whole of society together. Each one should seriously consider the purpose of the gathering, that it should bring about a sensation following the assembly of friends, that each one has something in his hand which he can put in his vessels, and that he is not in the form of. But do not put any in your vessels. Each one should consider that if he does not sit especially attentive during the assembly, not only does he himself lose, but he also corrupts the whole of society. This is similar to what is written in the Midrash. Two people went inside a boat. One of them began to drill beneath him, making a hole in the boat. His friend told him, "Why are you drilling?" And he replied, "Why should you care? I'm drilling under me, not under you." So the other replied, "You fool, both of us will drown together." And after they speak of the importance and the necessity of the society, there begins the order of correction. How and with what can we reinforce the society to become one block? As it's written, "And there Israel camped before the mount, and it was explained as one man and one heart." The order should be that anyone with a suggestion that can improve the love of friends, it should be discussed, but it must be accepted by all the friends, so there's no issue of coercion here. Thus far, we discussed the connection between man and man, which is to bring us the connection between man and God, as it's written in the Matan Torah article. It follows as they speak the importance of love of friends, and that its whole importance is that it leads us to the love of the Creator. They should also think that the love of friends should bring us into the importance of the love of the Creator. Right, yeah. Any questions? No? It's all good? All right. Well, let's do a bit of a recap then. This is a really important article because it talks about how we need to arrange our meetings, right? Every time the 10 comes together, every time the group comes together, it outlines for us what we should be, undertaking in terms of inner work and also doing together. Right. So if we don't set this straight, all of our meetings are going to be pretty much, it's not going to be really worth meeting up, is it? If we're not doing what he's suggesting. So what we want to do is pick up some principles here that we should all be practicing in the 10 or in the group when we come together. All right, so let's pick them up together. Okay, let's see what we have here. So the first thing we need to do, it says, is praise the creator, meaning believe that the creator has everything that one is asking for and that the creator is merciful and grants everyone his wish for the best. Okay, so we need to come to an understanding of actually what we want from the creator is the most important thing. Right. So every day we should actually clarify for ourselves, what do I want from the creator? That's the most important thing because that is going to tie me to the intention. Afterwards, we're going to get to the other principles where we'll learn to relate that to the creator. So what does it says afterwards? That the creator is merciful and grants everyone his wish. It turns out that when the friends gather in one place, the assembly is certainly for a purpose. And this is the most important thing. Every friend must understand the purpose for the meeting. Why are we coming together? Why are we, I don't know, why are we studying this article right now in the middle of the night? What time is it? It's 20 minutes past 8 my time. All right. If you ask everybody else, everybody's got a bunch of stuff to do in life. I'm sure you guys can think of a dozen better things to do as well. But we're not doing them. We're sitting down and trying to better our approach to how we're going to attain spirituality. Okay, so we're willing to make a few sacrifices. And should we fail to make sacrifices in order to advance in spirituality, we won't get anywhere. So it's important to understand a few things here while we're together, why we're here, and what do we want from this meeting. Okay, so everyone, whether we're in a lesson or whether we're coming together to do, I don't know, a workshop, a congress, whatever we're doing, every time we come together, it's a gathering of friends. The morning lessons, a gathering of friends. Here together, we're here now. This is a gathering of friends. Everything is a gathering of friends as long as we're all together. And if we're together, we must have a purpose and we need to clarify that. And we need to understand that this is something that the creator can give us. How do we have such an understanding? Well, we don't feel the creator yet, right? So all we have is a hunch, all right? It's a gut feeling, which is called the dot in the heart, right? It's a special inclination inside of us that is wondering about the meaning of life. So despite the fact that we don't feel the creator inside of us, with the study, something resonates. And this is what keeps us here. Okay, so this is why most of our friends who don't have a dot in the heart ask us, what are you doing there? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? Love others? What are you, joke? Right? Okay, because it just doesn't make sense if you don't have a dot in the heart. But if you have a dot in the heart, despite the fact that your logic might say, you know what, I mean, this is just like, a bit off the Hector scale. But inside of us, something says, I want to go ahead with this. And this is where it's coming from. All right. And we need to get used to these two opposite things inside of us because this dilemma is going to bring us to the point of free will. If I don't have this dilemma between 2 points, I can't have free will. All right. You guys let me know if there's a question, okay? I'll just go slowly, steady. What else do we need to do? So when we come to the meeting, rather when one goes to an assembly, he should acquire nourishments there so that when he goes home, he will be able to see if he has something in his vessels. So this is also important. Before I come to the gathering, I'm evaluating why I'm coming here. What's the purpose? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to achieve? And afterwards, I should also measure, what did I get? Okay, what am I leaving with? Have I enhanced my spiritual growth a little further? Have I strengthened my dot in the heart a bit more? Do I have a little bit more faith than before I came? So these are things, inner scrutinies that we'll have to do. This is also called the nourishment. It's called inner work. This is what we feed off in the wisdom of Kabbalah. We evaluate. We're going through the stages in emotion and in thought. Therefore, first one must praise the importance of the gathering and then see what to acquire from the activity. All right, this is the most important thing because I can only get something if something I'm doing is important for me. If I'm doing something that I don't consider to be important, what I'm getting out of it is not really registered with me. So if you want to attain anything, if you want to get anything done in life, importance is the key. You give it importance, it sticks with you, and you're happy to actually do some extra effort for it. You're happy to make concessions. Why? Because it's important. So raising the importance is a prime activity. And this is what it means to praise the Creator, making it important for us, making spirituality important for us. Each and everyone must try to provide reasons and explanations for their merit and importance. They should speak of nothing but the praise of society. So when we're in the group, we should always be bringing a good vibe into the group. We should always raise the importance, the greatness of the friends and the group. Because if they're not great in my eyes, I will not want to stick around. And if I want to stick around, I have to make them important. I'll only stick around with people who I like. If I don't like them, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? So we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot. Whenever we want to attain something, I should ensure that everything related to whatever I want to attain is important for me. And from them, I can feed off. I can get something to keep moving and pushing forward. And that's the first stage. Once we're done with that, the importance of the goal, the creator, the society, then each one will state in his mind about the actions we can take. So the second part is when we all get together, if you like getting together in your tent, what should you be talking about? Right? The first thing is the importance of the goal, which we just did. That's round one. Round two is what are we going to do? What are we going to do to make our connections stronger? Okay, what are we going to do to connect better so that our ties of connection are stronger? Okay, so we need to talk about that, all of us together. And this should actually be on everyone's mind. Because if you don't strengthen your bonds, you'll split up. This is a bit like marriage. All right, it's not enough that you go off and sign a document and you're married. You got to put some logs into the fireplace, and you got to keep doing it if you want the fire to keep burning. So the group has to do the same thing. We have to keep feeding the fire, making sure that it's all nice and warm and cozy. All right, so we need to talk about what we're going to do. And once we all come up with ideas, we need to understand that everybody needs to agree with this, right? Because there's no coercion in spirituality. So we need to come to a point where we all agree on what we're going to do. All right, so the things that we're going to do. And then what should we do? Then it's all about acting it out, right? The last phase and the third phase is actually applying it. This is why we're studying a lot of articles, right? In the morning lesson, we study here. We're reading a lot of things all the time. Why? And we study Rabash every day. What does he say every day? The purpose of creation is that the creator wants to give pleasure to the created being. Okay. So that's in every article, that's like what he's talking about, right? And he says it in every article. The question is, how are we going to get to a state where we can actually get pleasure from the creator's bestow? And if we don't think about that as a group and act on it in order to receive that pleasure, then we're wasting our time reading it, aren't we? All right, so we have to take something to apply. All right, so this is really important as well. We should always be picking up something from the articles that we can apply together. And that's basically what the article is talking about. Any questions? Still no questions, which is fine. That's all right. In the back, we got one question. So do we have yes, no, something? No, we don't. Okay, so we've got 41 people with us, right? 10 people on YouTube and 31 people here, I heard. All right. Okay, not to worry. Okay, but you get the drift of the article, right? Okay, this is really important. So we need to understand, first of all, to prepare ourselves for the meeting, to make sure the goal is great in our eyes and that the Creator can grant us what we want, which is to bestow to the Creator. And then we have to talk about how we're going to connect better so that through our unity, the love of friends, we can turn to the love of the Creator and really receive what the Creator wants to give us. And then we do the things that we talked about on how we can connect better. All right, so we've got the intention, what to do, and then the action. 3 phases. Right, Issake is asking, when we meet to study with the friends in our tent, we're listening and learning in order to change how we're interacting or relating to the world and people outside the path, how to relate to the study. You always want to use the material on how to relate to each other in the tent. Okay, the outside world is not studying Kabbalah. We relate to them as we would normally relate to people in corporal reality, right? In a nice, normal fashion. But when we're talking about studying these articles, Kabbalistic articles, Bala Sulam, Rabash, anything that's related to directing ourselves from the love of friends to the love of the Creator, this should only be done among the 10 to work within the 10. All right, otherwise you're going to get confused with the outside world and you're going to get them confused as well. Okay? And this is how we should relate to the study, as he says here. All of us think about the purpose of the study. Then we talk about how we're going to strengthen ourselves better, what we're going to do together to be stronger, to connect better, and to have better ties with each other. And then the 3rd phase is putting it into action. All right? Action in the 10, in the group. Corporeal life, deal with it in a normal corporeal fashion. And don't mix them up. You get confused. I hope that answers Isoke's question. All right, good. Guys, it's 8:31. The Zohar reading has just started. And we'll see you guys all next Tuesday. All the best. Have a good one.